whipping around the corner. Hey. Hey, Pat, how are you faring?
Good. How are you guys?
It was a good weekend.
So I made it in PowerPoint instead of slides. So PowerPoint still has the slides removed it. I think it was dumb, but like there is like an AI tool that like helps you like design the slides or whatever. And so Google Slides removed that, but Microsoft still has it. And so I figured, why not spruce up the title page?
We really gotta do something about that line though,
What line?
where Friends and Rivers meet.
And if you have questions, Rich.
Friends might meet here, but no rivers do.
Well, that's a larger discussion.
Was it you that told me, or somebody told me why the history of that? Because they really like Jonesville, because Jonesville, they kind of do.
My dad always says something about a guy being murdered down there. That's
If that was the case, we really need to change that. I always thought it was nice and poetic, but 1 minute. I got 6 p.m. Everybody ready? I'd like to call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldrige.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle. Here. Curran.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
May I make an amendment to the,
What are we making amendments for?
well, I think that number 14, I don't think we need that.
Okay.
Final comments for council.
Okay.
I think we need to remove that.
Why do you think it needs to be removed? I added it. Last time you wanted it removed because you said something about equitable time. So I changed it from
Right.
mayor's final comments to council final comments to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak.
There's a council, first off, I don't think it needs to be there. Second, the council, and then you're the chair, so
I don't know what that means.
you're the mayor, you're the chair, and we're the council.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be on there.
I think there needs to be a spot, I'll explain why. If somebody were to come up during final comments, and because this has happened in the past, where someone says something or something that the only options then is to communicate with them directly, and sometimes that's not the best spot for it. The best spot for it is after they've left, there's an opportunity for us to make comments on something. And as of right now, I have no other spot to do that. You guys always have the option to add that to your commissioner reports, but I don't. That's why it's there.
I don't trust that, and if he made the motion,
No.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so you want to make a modification. There is a motion and a second to
remove.
make a modification to the agenda. And to remove number, oh, sorry, I guess,
Remove
should we go?
14.
No, go around the room if anybody has any comments. Go ahead.
No, I don't have any comments. I'm fine with it.
Comments? Okay,
Okay.
any other comments?
Nope.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call?
Baldrige.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle. Aye. Curran.
Aye. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 4, mayor's report. Nothing like having to give your report right after being upset about something and try to be positive. So, number 1, first item is we had a great meeting with IVRD last week. There's 2 things I kind of wanted to touch on. One of them they mentioned about is the amount of calls they've had for structure fires. So the fire chief was right next to me, so I kind of leaned over and we just had a candid conversation. I said, how much is that really affecting Oglesby here? He says, fortunately, not much. So we haven't had that kind of problem, but other people are. So talking a little bit about why that is the case. Space heaters is a concern. He gave me some references to look at some of the state's website. We're gonna try to put that out there. The problem is there's so much information. It's just overwhelming. And I know if we share like a dozen things, the message will kind of get lost in translation. So I don't know if that's something, maybe if you want to work with the fire chief, if there's a single good source to maybe kind of put something out there. But the key thing is a lot of these problems are caused because of space heaters being put in locations either next to curtains or something like that. So just please be mindful of that because that is a problem that's happening around the region. The second thing that we talked about there that was really good is there's going to be an awareness campaign that's going to be coming in about 3-4 months talking about 988 because a lot of people aren't aware of what it is, that it even exists. 988 is basically an alternative from 911 for mental health related things. We actually, it's up and running. In fact, IVRD has a kind of a pilot program that the state's looking at of where we can connect ourselves into even more resources. There'll be more details coming on that, but I just want people to be aware with mental health and the concerns they have out there. There is plenty of resources for people to reach out to if they're in help, they need help. Number two, I want to talk about nonprofit events and organizations. We have been super fortunate in the city of Oglesby to have a lot of great nonprofits and a lot of different events that are going on. So not just talking about like things that the WEO Oglesby does, which is great, the American Legion, the Knights of Columbus, the baseball and softball boards, the Elks, just the Dickinson House Foundation, a lot of great organizations that put on different events that people can enjoy. So a lot of times when we have events, it's businesses. One of the things as a city we try not to do is we don't want to promote certain businesses over certain things. But we can kind of skirt that a little bit when there is a nonprofit organization involved. So there's two specific things that's going on that I'm very happy about in Oglesby in February. The first one is the American Legion on the 22nd of February is having the Wild Game Feed. Now this is a yearly event that we do. I do think it's special and it's unique. If we were living in California or Florida, the vast majority of the public would never have an opportunity to ever try wild game. This is the Midwest, so that's not necessarily the case, but it still is a unique opportunity. So I encourage people to check that one out. And the other one I am super, super excited about because as far as I know, it hasn't happened in the city of Oglesby, and the last time it's happened in our region, I think it was pre-COVID. It was Duffy's would have events of food pairings with alcohol, and that hasn't happened for many, many years. So there's an event that's going on. The Illinois Valley Baseball League is putting on a nonprofit group event. It's happening at Carrico Caldex on 12 February. It's a whiskey food pairing. What I'm excited about this is I'm hoping it's super, super successful because it's one more event that might come more regular back to the area. And to me, that's what it's all about. When these nonprofits are starting to put together events, they're a great way to promote getting them funds and fundraising. But I look at it as at the end of the day, it's more events and more activity that's happening in our area. Those are the only things I have. I will say, because I don't have a spot here, I am extremely disappointed that I truly believe there needs to be a spot for the mayor to be able to speak and respond to anything that might come up during the meeting. I don't know why this continues to be a problem. I'm going to say it here because I'm disappointed. If you look at the meeting minutes from a month ago, you'll see someone say they want to make sure they're the one that speaks last. But then the option that they say is completely different, that they want equitable time. No problem. So I put on here council final comments. Still
Point of
removed.
order. This is
Why are you-
finished business. We cannot discuss finished business under Robert's Rules of Order.
I can speak whatever I
No,
want
you
to.
cannot, Jason.
I can. I'll tell you
are
what.
not allowed to speak whatever
I'll tell you what.
want.
I'll tell you what.
Ever.
I'll
No,
tell you
you
what.
cannot. I'm telling you, Pat, I guarantee you the
here's what
Attorney
we're gonna
General
do.
does not
Here's what
say
we're
you
gonna
can say
do.
whatever he wants.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna speak whatever I want because it's freedom of speech. If you want to, you're more than welcome to reach out to the Attorney General's office, and you think if the Attorney General says that the mayor cannot speak what he wants to when it's his turn to talk, I'll see what he says. I guarantee you, nothing trumps freedom of speech. Nothing trumps it. So go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, we're going to be professional and we're going to carry forth. All right, that's all I have. Number 5, public comment on agenda items only. Seeing that there's none, we will move on. Number 6, approve minutes from the December 15th, 2025, January 5th, 2026, and January 20th, 2026 regular meetings. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I will move that we approve minutes from the December 15th, January 5th, and January 20th, 2026. Well, December 15th, 2025, January 5th, 2026, and January 20th, 2026 regular sessions.
I would like to ask that some changes be done to those to make them correct.
Okay, do you have some modifications?
I don't have those available right now, but there's some things in there that I didn't believe to be true.
Can we, I said this at the last meeting as well, but can we ensure that if there's an issue with those, I mean, that something is said prior to the council meeting itself?
I asked at the last few meetings if we could make them very general, and
They're not general enough?
no.
Okay, not general.
Okay, well, if something can be articulated to Jen, that's possibly something she can fix over the weekend in anticipation for the meeting, so.
Yeah, I would say if there's an issue with that, I mean, because here we are at the council meeting, they're not approved, which is fine. Anybody can, for whatever reason, but I still don't have an action to give direction to somebody on how they should modify that. So to me, this isn't a discussion item right now, but I mean, we need to come up with a method of how we're going to get that info. If somebody's legitimately not happy with minutes, we need to talk about a method of how that information is going to be communicated so we can improve the process to where we have something that a majority can approve. So I have one person that's not, but there is a motion on the table. Is there a second to approve them? Okay, there's not a second, so the motion will die. Do we want to just table this for now, or do people want to go around and talk, communicate about it?
I don't know what the issue is, so.
Okay,
I'm not sure either.
you're not sure what the issue is, but
No,
you're
But
not,
I'd be interested to hear what it was.
Same.
Yeah.
but you're not, okay?
Concur.
Anything?
I concur.
Both
Be
concur,
interested
but
with
don't
that.
have anything to give, but we're not motioning to approve the minutes. Got it, okay? Rich?
I said before, I think they need to be more general. They need to
Okay.
be correct.
Okay, well, I know they were more generalized. I don't know what more we can do on that. Maybe we'll have to put a topic on for the next meeting to discuss how we're going to be able to give that information to the clerk so we can get minutes that everybody's going to be happy with instead of waiting to a council meeting to not approve them. Can I get a motion to table it then?
Make a motion to table the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige.
Aye.
Cullinan.
No?
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 7, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $565,924.79 for normal monthly and EFT bills, $509,969.70 for Vissering construction, for a total of $1,075,894.49. If there's any additions, corrections, or modifications to the bills, or if I can get a motion.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So on the credit card statement, there was and okay, so on the credit card statement, there was a line item for gift cards, and this immediately makes me raise red flags, like, this is public funds used, and gift cards are often treated as cash. So I'm just wondering, is there some kind of authorization or policy in place about purchasing gift cards?
Or the gift cards for, Jen?
I'm not sure, Aaron, what was
Whose card is, what card is that?
It was on Becky's card, or the transactions for Becky, and it was from the event girls to Santa.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's something we've done in the past. Does anyone know? Is that authorized? They have? I looked through, my pay.
Pay for them, but that's what we did last year, too, was gift certificates for
Okay.
So Santa gift cards there is.
Is there policy or procedure in place for that? I'm just
For
curious.
gift cards?
I mean, because it is a gift
Generally.
card.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on what it's for. I don't know what those were for. So it looks like
I-
there's a 50, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I know they got them from local businesses, I believe from Garzanelli's.
And I think it was an appreciation thing, and I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily saying that I'm not appreciative of that, but
I see 3 of them. Were they given us a prize or something like that?
No,
or what was it?
we just, instead of paying Santa and Mrs. Claus, we gave
Got
them a
it.
dinner out.
Understood. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, so when it says Santa gift card, it literally means.
A gift card for Santa. Yeah.
Okay. Is that good question? Does that answer your question?
yeah. So I guess, I mean, is there policy or procedure in place going
On
forward?
how we pay Santa?
Well, gift card transactions,
Well, I don't know.
they're sketchy.
So I don't know if we necessarily have a policy for that. There is some, I'll give you an example of one that's a little strange. So when the hags come, right? If you were to look at that, I don't like how it's labeled. Because essentially we pay the hags for their time. However, they don't want to be paid. They don't want to be paid. So instead, they want to give a donation to somebody on their behalf. So we give a donation. What I don't like about that is if you look at our books, it looks like we took money to give a donation to an entity, but we really didn't. It was a payment for those services. I look at the same thing as, Santa. Come on now, let's be real. When we're paying, when we have Santa come in for services, it's a way to pay him. Why we're paying it through gift cards. Now, if you're saying we need to probably have a different policy of paying somebody differently than gift cards, we could. I don't think it's enough to raise a flag over.
I think the policy that's in place is that everybody gets a copy of the credit card statements and we approve the bills at the meeting. I mean, you could have somebody.
But who authorizes?
Who authorizes
gift
the
card?
credit?
Well,
The dollar
the
amount.
city-
Let's just
the
take
city
the
coun-
dollar
the city
amount out.
council, The city council ultimately authorizes the bills. So,
Speaking of which, on the bills there, I've asked numerous times for that Heartland Bank Visa bills to be presented to the council.
the Heartland Bank Visa's in the shared folder.
Yeah, the problem is I've asked and requested numerous times for page 2, and, it was included, I believe, but it was the back of the page, so I don't know if we're trying to hide something there
I
or
saw
what
all
happens
4
here.
pages in there.
There's 5 pages total, and the
Well-
second page is the back of the paper.
That's what page 2 is. That's all it is. I can get the
I think
credit
I have it
card
right
for you.
here, Rich. And it's actually 4 pages, so here it is for
This is
you.
money, so, yeah, let's put it on the thing there. So, I don't want people to feel uncomfortable about money.
Got
Is that
page
your
1 there. It's page 2 there. It's page 3 there.
It's interesting to me, on official documents,
page
usually you
4
have the
there.
number of the page on the page, and why doesn't it have that on
Well,
page 2?
I don't work for Heartland Bank, Rich,
Oh, me
so I
neither.
don't
Me
exactly,
neither.
I don't
It's
exactly
common
know why that's the
practice.
case.
It's common practice. Why
Okay.
isn't it why isn't page 3 or 4,
It says
2 of 4?
page 3 of 4 right there, Rich.
Okay, I understand that, and I agree. Where's page 2 of 4?
That's page
Right
2 of 4
there.
right there.
Oh, that seems like it's the back to me.
Okay.
Well, that's what
Well,
she just said. She said it was the back of.
Yeah, they go, the front is 1, the back is 2, the front is 3, the back is 4.
But as far as you know, all pages are.
Everything
pages
is,
are included.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The back aren't numbered for some reason, Rich.
So, if you're not happy with the sorting, I get that, but you do have 58 pages of documentation there. So to me, the first thing is, the most important is to make sure people have access to see all funds. That was one of the things that hasn't been done very well over the previous administration, so now everybody has access to see everything. I get it. It might be jumbled a bit. I see the ladies have highlighted the actual charges amount, so it makes things a little bit easier. But a lot of the stuff that we have for the actual payments, I'm seeing, the ones I'm seeing for the digital stuff that we approve, I am seeing a full copy of the receipts. Now granted, I don't like how you have to scroll and get this little window to try to look at everything, but it is there.
Okay, are we done with the gift card discussion?
Well,
I mean, I just, from an auditor perspective, seeing a gift card on a municipal credit card seems fishy.
Oh, I don't know.
I guess, but I mean,
Illinois
you
Constitution.
could have, you could have somebody, if you really wanted to get into it, you could have somebody purchasing software and laundering software. You can't possibly,
But
I mean,
public use for
the-
public funds,
well,
gift
yeah,
cards
public,
are treated as cash, we're just, if.
sure,
take-
but
yeah.
they're on the bank statement and they're on the bills, so it's not like, I just don't see what the issue is.
So, and again, I understand from transparency point of view, many, many years ago, it used to be to where, like, when we would have the Christmas party, we would have a Christmas party for all board members and not just council, but I'm talking everybody. And a $10 gift card was, we're talking like plan commission, zoning board, all these, everybody. And there'd be a luncheon and everybody would get like a little $10 gift card thing. We don't have that anymore because I do recognize how it looks. As I said, I mentioned the hags thing. I mean, if you justify it and you can make an annotation of what the reason is. If you were to just look at the accounting data, yeah, I don't like that because it makes it look like we're doing something that we don't normally do. I get the idea that it's gift cards. It does say Santa gift card. I mean, to me, I look at it as it's.
I got a question, and I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you referring to, you want to know who authorized to give them the
Well, I
gift
guess when
card?
you're using city funds, there should always be authorization in place.
So I will tell
Period.
you, I feel like it is authorized, but I'm gonna make an effort that we're gonna handle this a little bit better for appropriations. What I asked for our event coordinators is, so we do have a budget in place for when events are, whatever, right? What I like to do is I wanna put something in our appropriations next that breaks down every single event, right? So that way there's a total line amount number. So that way technically the council has a say in it. And to me, all of the stuff that happens for like the winter events and stuff like that, that's included. Paying for Santa, the sleigh, all these things that we have for a cost. I do believe that is paid for, that is approved by the council, but we can find a way to definitely make it more official by putting those as specific line items in the appropriation.
Also, in
ordinance.
my viewpoint, there's two other instances that I was able to pull up immediately of gift cards. So back
What'd
in
you find?
2013, there's gift cards for dock workers, which was $100, and then back in 2021, there was donations for schools, for grocery and gas gift cards for
Yeah.
$3,000.
No, I'm not disagreeing,
So-
but as far as Santa, that's not, I couldn't find it. So it must have been coded differently if it's been past practice, but all I was doing was asking, where's the authorization?
Yeah, I'm just
for
saying
it?
that we've given gift cards in the past to people and it's been billed to the city. And so the authorization is that we get the credit card statements, we get the bills say right here, Santa gift card, $50, Santa gift card, $51.50, Santa gift card, $51.50, and then we approve it.
But
I just-
who's authorizing it?
The
Right?
city council is authorizing it or the city council is acknowledging at least that
Well, who hands them out?
well,
Is that what you're asking, Hillary?
I mean,
Who's
so-
paying the service?
this is the
who's-
thing is I feel
Well, no.
who
one at a time.
who
Yeah.
authorizes the purchase of staples, Mac? I mean, at the end of the day, somebody has to have executive or administrative authority to purchase things. And so I get what we're saying here, but
Well, I mean,
I'm not
I
sure
think
you
we're making
could,
I think we're
One at a
making
time.
much to do about nothing.
sorry.
Hold on, did you have something you wanna say?
Well, can Hillary give out a gift card and Rich and me?
Yeah, you have that authority.
I don't-
I don't think so.
I don't know how that would work.
So,
You have executive authority to spend up to
X
how
dollars.
much?
X amount,
But
yeah,
gift
but
cards
to
would be
actually give a
excluded
gift
from
card.
that, according to Illinois State
I think there's two
Constitution,
things here. Hold on.
Article 8, 1A.
Rich, did you have something you wanna say?
No,
Public
go
use.
ahead.
I think
Public
there's,
funds.
I think there's two things here. One, we're talking about the idea that it's gift cards, right? I get that. I get that, what that looks like, but what I'm saying is it's still a point of sale, right? It's a point of sale of a paid for service. Whether it's a gift card, whether it was a cash receipt, whether it was petty cash that was given to them from how they were paid. I don't think I really don't think that's a
So-
concern.
so let me-
Hold on a second. That's the part that Austin is talking about, that everybody has that ability to do that. You can pay for bills and pay for stuff like that.
Right.
I think what you're asking is, what's your thoughts about paying for bills as far as gift cards?
Or
I-
using public funds to give to
Right.
private individuals. Where's the line?
I mean, do we, so, I mean, I feel like we do, I mean, not everything in the city is public. I mean,
Oh,
we,
it should be.
well,
Oh,
that's
careful.
not what I'm talking about.
It's
When I say
people's
public,
taxes.
I mean, we can, for instance, we have Pat Berry on retainer as our city attorney, but Pat Berry himself is not an employee of the city of Oglesby. He's somebody we hire to serve as the city attorney.
And he has a
And so
contract.
therefore, we are using public funds to pay Pat Berry and Pat Berry's firm. That's
For
a
public
public,
use.
well, yes, and I would also argue that paying
Santa or showing a token of appreciation to Santa for showing up to an event is also a public use of funds. It's going to a private individual just as it's going to a private business in the case of Pat Berry. But it is still public funds for public purpose.
But shouldn't that be authorized before somebody hands him a gift card?
And what I'm saying is, I believe that is
Come on,
because we
guys.
approve our events that we have. And I'm telling you, I will make this a little bit more clear because of these issues that have come up. And I think we will get a detailed amount, well, I shouldn't say detailed, because then you're gonna say, why wasn't that listed in there? My thing is, winter events, whatever it is that we spent on it, I don't know if it was $1,000 or whatever, that would be included in that group. I mean, do we approve the very specific spending that we do for everything that happens in Fun Fest? There's about $100,000 worth of bills that go out that we pay people. We pay each band, whether it's anywhere between $1,500 and $8,000. We pay for the different services for all that come in, for all these different things that happen. We don't sit here and approve the individual bill ahead of time. What we do is we've approved that we're gonna have spending for that event, and then we approve all the bills like we're doing here for everything.
Correction, on
Yeah.
the celebration days or the Fun Fest, I do believe it was stated here that the council didn't actually approve anything. We approved the appropriations, which
Yes.
apparently gave permission to spend $120,000 on the Fun Fest,
Yeah.
which I don't
I
think
think
that's
we
how you pass a
also
bill.
discussed how it's impractical to authorize every purchase possible for Fun Fest.
I think it's impractical to not have to tell somebody what you're gonna do with $120,000 of the taxpayers' money. That's what I think is
Yes.
impractical.
Okay?
You need to let him.
Well, let me ask you a question. So
Thanks for it.
clerk's office needs a ream of paper tomorrow. How are we doing that purchase?
Yeah, who authorizes it?
Is it authorized that they have a certain amount that they can spend in there? Is $120,000 authorized by anybody in this council to take it to purposely spend that by themselves? That they don't need any authorization from the council? An appropriation is not an acknowledgement from the council that you can spend up to $120,000 or $134,000, whatever it was.
Rich, what do
You
you
guys
object
are-
to? What do you
You
object to?
guys are making
What do you
this seem
object to?
trivial, like it's just some
What
paper in the office.
What do you object to about what was spent for Fun Fest?
I'm not objecting to anything. You're sitting here acting like this piece of paper that they buy in the office is the equivalent of.
Well, we
all
discussed
these
this
other
already
things.
at
It's a service.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've discussed this already. I mean,
Okay.
That being said,
So
I
We're just
will make a
we're
motion.
approving the bills. I think everything's been explained. If somebody has a problem with how we add that to another thing to I don't think it needs to be discussed, but if we've answered all the questions, I'd like to just approve the bills tonight and go from there. Is there any more questions about the bills in front of us today? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the bills?
I will motion that we approve the bills for both the monthly EFT and for Vissering for a total of $1,075,894.49.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 8, approve payroll for January 30th, 2026 in the amount of $63,725.18. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll.
I will second.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 9, old business. I think we probably should have, maybe out of order, I think, presentation, but it's fine. There's no old business items anyways, so we'll move on. Number 10, Kevin Lindeman NCICG presentation. Hi, Kevin, how are you? Good, how are you? Thank you.
Kevin.
So here to talk about your next item on your agenda is your comprehensive plan.
You need to pull the little, there's a little tab, if you just pull it. It's on? Thank
It's
you.
on.
That way people at home can hear you.
All right, is that better?
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we were hired to review the comprehensive plan with the planning commission last spring. It started in April and we wrapped it up for the public hearing on January 14th with the planning commission. We reviewed the chapters of demographics, natural hazards, goals, strategies and tasks, implementation, and in doing that, we also made updates to the introduction chapter and the executive summary. So those changes have been on our website and linked to your website since December. Had the public hearing on January 14th. We had one page of changes made, I believe. Those were given out, were they not, John?
Yes, I believe they were
Okay.
they were
They're
sent in their packet,
So you should
yeah.
have those. There were minor changes made as a result of the public hearing comments. And it's here for your approval. And answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. We'll go around there if anybody has any questions. Austin?
Not at the moment, no.
Hillary?
Is this what was in the packet? I didn't see this in the packet. Austin, is this what was in there?
I'm not sure.
That's-
Okay.
that's
Is
the
this what you're
changes, right?
referencing,
Yeah,
Kevin?
that's what
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see it in the packet either, but it was sent
planning,
earlier to
yeah.
everybody.
Oh, okay, thank
It's
you.
a separate one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions, Hillary?
No, I'm sorry.
Mac?
No, I don't.
Rich?
Nothing.
Kevin, I appreciate you guys taking the time, updating the comprehensive plan. I know can be kind of a monumental task and a lot of parts go into it. And it's, it's a document that we end up using for the next foreseeable years when we reference things with either new businesses and things like that. So I appreciate all your time and effort to put it together for us.
Thank you.
All right.
Jason, can I make a comment?
You certainly can, sir.
The Planning Commission position, first of all, I want to thank the Planning Commission for the 8 or 9 months of work that we put in on the comprehensive plan. And I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get more public input from people who are interested in moving Oglesby forward. We didn't get that public input, but we worked with what we had. And I think the commission did a good job of putting that whole thing together, so we'll thank them personally.
All right. I'd like to thank you, Ken. I know Ken put in his resignation from the board. He stuck around for a little while. We're going to probably do something recognizing that at the next meeting. I do appreciate that you guys put together a survey. So I know it can be frustrating not getting the amount of input that you really want. There was a survey that was put out, so there was some that comes in for it, but I know we always want more. But I appreciate
Incorporated in the results of the survey.
I appreciate all the efforts, Ken.
Mr. Fezzik, I'd like to ask a question here. It says page 12-2, moving of tasks to goals. Explore the best form of government. Set up for Oglesby to be moved to its own goal. Page 12-2, addition under new goal, continue to educate the citizens of Oglesby on different forms of government. Did you guys add those, or?
I'm going to say that should be an ongoing thing. We should always be looking how to make the city better. And if changing the form of government would do that, then that's what we should be looking at. But it should be a constant thing. It shouldn't just be something you do once, put it on the shelf. And I think it should be ongoing.
And that's what the commission decided.
So,
Commission decided to incorporate it in that.
Yeah.
so 1/3 of your guys' suggestions to move the city forward is to change the form of government, or even look into changing the form of government and educating the citizens. Okay.
What do you mean by 1/3, Rich?
Well, you have six topics on
Those
here.
are just changes.
These are changes.
There's
Okay.
many,
I
many,
said
many more
suggestions.
things in the plan.
I said
Rich.
they have 6 suggestions that'll change
Those
it.
were 6 changes that were as a result of the public hearing. There was many more changes that were made by the planning commission throughout the process that was in the document on the website.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yep, as I said,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it looks like there's, for example, there's a removal here, develop a dog park, because that was a goal that the city developed and did that.
And in the latest draft that we did, we had not removed that, so that's why we were
Ah.
just clarifying, these were final changes that were made once the public draft was put out in end of December. We had the public hearing, here are some things we need to correct, there was conversations, some things that we missed, some things that the planning commission decided we wanna change how this looks.
Anything else, Ken?
No, I was just gonna say that we did remove those things that were no longer pertinent. And those things that had been accomplished from the 2020 plan. So that's been cleaned up.
Appreciate that, Ken. Anybody have anything else? All right.
I'd like to thank the planning commission, and thank you, Mr. Fezzik.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Number
Thank you,
11,
Kevin.
new business. A, discussion and possible action on updated comprehensive plan. Cullinan.
Yeah, so I suppose I didn't really, Jen, you placed this on there. I assume that this would be us approving the new comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been recommended by the Plan Commission after months and months of work.
Anything else? Hillary? Mac?
Well, like I said, I appreciate the planning commission. Thank you, Mr. Fezzik. I'm all for it. Go ahead, Rick.
Rich?
I do appreciate their time and efforts, but I think I will be going with the 678
What's that?
folks that voted this last election.
Okay. No, I just want to say I appreciate it. I know this document, a lot of times it gets reviewed. We look at it, we read through it, and then a lot of times it doesn't get looked at again. It's used more as a reference,
It's on
right?
the
We always
website, too.
constantly
The
reference anytime a new
comprehensive
business
plan is
comes
on our
in to say,
website.
does this
Yeah.
fall?
Yeah,
Is everything okay?
yeah, no, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just didn't see the website. I didn't know if I missed an email with the new updated comprehensive plan there.
Mhm.
I was asking Austin to put it up, so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it on the drive, no.
okay.
But
Well,
you
we're-
said it's on the website.
Yeah.
Where's
Well,
it on the website?
I guess I should ask the question here just to make sure, because I think we're going to take the recommendation to approve it. Has everybody had a chance to look at the updated
I
document?
have not.
No, not in its entirety, no.
I had not in the
Okay.
entirety.
That's
no.
why I was confused. I thought maybe I missed an email.
My suggestion would be you table it till the
I-
next
Okay.
meeting if they
I-
haven't
I-
looked at it.
I think so. I mean, even though it's the recommendation, the council, in my opinion, needs to have eyes on it then,
Yes.
if that's the case, so.
I'll make a
I'm-
motion to table it.
Okay, there's
Can-
a,
Second.
go ahead, hold on, is there more discussion?
Jen, can you print me a hard copy?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I do much better
Yep,
with hard.
For sure, not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? There's a motion to table. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye, okay. Just an administrative thing. Hopefully, we'll get that approved at the very next one. Hopefully, it won't be an issue. B, discussion on employee record placement. Curran, so I hate to, this really should be under old business because we've talked about this in the past, and I thought this was settled because we had everybody here in agreement. But then I have found out recently that I don't have everybody in agreement now, that they don't want to have a central repository for employee records. I'm grossly concerned about that. To me, the only exceptions for that was the police department, even though all their pay records are here. Police department has their own thing when it comes to discipline, evaluations, all that kind of stuff. So there's a specified place for that at the police department. The only other secondary thing that could be related is the qualifications for the ambulance staff apparently get updated so frequently to where it might not be feasible to make sure that every time an updated cert gets into their record. I still think that's possible, but my recommendation was as long as their primary cert is there and updated certs, my understanding is I guess the ambulance director needs to send these certs off to different either ambulances or hospitals or stuff like that as we transport people. So there is a need for him to have access to local files. Other than that though, every other employee in the city, I don't think we can be having discipline records or counselings or certifications or things locally in a drawer somewhere. I think there needs to be under lock and key at a central spot. To me, I thought we solved that, but apparently that is not the case. So I wanted to introduce the conversation again so we can get this to bed for once and for all. I'll go around the room. Commissioner Cullinan.
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, I can't really speak to how most other workplaces handle this sort of thing, but I'm pretty sure everywhere I've been professionally in education, it's the district office that controls the personnel records. It's not the individual school that controls the records. And so I believe that I've said that I think whoever has the responsibility to fulfill FOIA requests as it relates to employee records should ultimately have access to those employee records if necessary. And frankly, I mean, if there is a FOIA request, and even if somebody doesn't necessarily want their records being in City Hall is going to get their records. It's going to happen because unless you want to have a different FOIA authority for every department, that's how it's going to have to be. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, Hillary?
Okay, well, there's a couple things that I'm a little concerned about. First of all, ambulance specific, I'm gonna speak only to my departments because I don't know what goes on in other departments, but specifically, ambulance is 24 hours staffed. So in the event that someone needs to document something in their personnel file on the weekend or in the middle of the night because there was an incident, they can't get into City Hall. Secondly, if there was a fatality or some kind of OSHA involved thing that happens in the ambulance, they're gonna have to have access to those records immediately. And unless someone from City Hall's gonna come and unlock it 2 in the morning because OSHA decided to show up, or on a holiday, or for weekends, etc. As far as FOIA, I would feel uncomfortable if someone FOIA'd some kind of personnel records for the ambulance, for their qualifications, et cetera, without the director weighing in what you're looking at, because that is his purview, it is his knowledge, it is, I don't think I'm not trained to be able to say what a paramedic requires. I don't think anyone in the clerk's office knows all those certifications required, et cetera. So those are the big things. And as far as lock and key, there is lock and key at the fire department.
Okay, anything else? Matt?
Well, everybody could have a lock and key. As far as being FOIA'd, I agree with Hillary. My question would be, how many people would have access to these files? I mean, would it be open for all the commissioners and the mayor and everybody here? Or who? No, I don't think somebody needs their personal files going through. Hey, look, this guy was recommended to stop doing this. They had a write-up. This one had this. I don't think, we're all commissioners. We're all grown adults. Even the people that are working for the city. I don't think we need everybody in the council to go and look and see who's got written, who got trouble for this or whatever. That's just my, if you, I understand lock and key, okay, and I agree with it. But you can't just let everyone go in and look at it. Right?
Anything else? Rich?
I concur with Commissioner McDermott. That's it.
That's,
Okay.
that'd be my problem.
So to answer your question, who has access to employee records? Well, the clerk's office in that capacity, and if the council needs to make decisions on employees that they would have access to, when you say discipline records, I mean, we talked about this, and I don't want to divulge closed session type stuff.
Right.
We've talked about this in the past, that there has been employees, not in this administration, in the previous administration, that were protected. And the council was unaware of some of these employees' shortcomings. And we talked about that as, that's why it's important for the council to have oversight over that kind of stuff. So I don't understand why somebody would think it would be a good idea for, if somebody had a counseling on them or their certification and stuff, why it'd be stuck in a drawer, not in a central location. I mean, I don't even know why we're having this conversation. But I mean, I don't know. Pat, do you have any guidance or recommendation when it comes to employee records? From a legal standpoint, I suppose?
Well, I've never researched it, Jason, but my off-the-cuff opinion is they should be stored in a secure location, in a central location if at all possible. You know, some of those things, Hillary, could be scanned, I think, and, you know, available both here and there. I don't know, maybe those records are so sensitive or there's such an immediate need for them that they should be kept down there. But certainly everything in the clerk's office should be secured under lock and key for all the other employees. And I think all of you have a right to look at those. I mean, you're the employers here. You have a right to look at those records every day if you want to. The mayor and all the council members. And if there's disciplinary things in there, Matt, they can be FOIA'd. That can be made public.
Mhm.
So, you know, there's no sense in hiding them. They're employee records and they're discoverable.
Okay. Anybody has anything else?
Yeah, as far as, well, there's 2 points that Larry made. I'll start with the second one. The director having kind of input on a FOIA. I don't think that it's bad practice. I think it's actually probably good practice if there is a FOIA request filed for something like that for the city clerk to reach out to the commissioner it would affect and maybe the department head it would affect and say, hey, this is kind of what came in, you know, making you aware of it, you know, what's kind of the deal here, and get on the same page with it. I think that's even better than, frankly, you know, what we have now, which is where we just, you know, I don't even want to say what we have now, because Jen's consulted me on when FOIAs have come in, but I know that we have, on our list of things we want for the meeting packets, we have FOIA requests. I actually think it would probably be more proactive, and it would be a better idea for when a FOIA request does come in, that FOIA request is shared with the applicable commissioner and applicable department heads, and then that discussion can be had. And so I think that would alleviate that concern. The other thing I would say, as far as, getting into City Hall at any hours, I mean, if they're, in case of an emergency, you know, if the code needed to be provided to somebody to go in the City Hall into the office and get those, I mean, you could do that, but I honestly think what Pat said probably is the best idea, which is just that you would have copies available of those in both locations, but you just have a central repository of that information as well. So I think that solves those two issues. And I would also, I don't necessarily think it's good practice for any of us to be willy-nilly combing through employee records. But I would echo what you kind of said, and that I do think that we all have the rights to inspect any records at any time if we so wish.
You absolutely do.
Yeah. As far as, I don't know what somebody would need an emergency record for, other than like a certification. So to me, certifications, if they need to have the copies of those locally someplace, that's fine, but there needs to be a central repository. We can't have discipline, especially if there's something that's foiable. Anything that's foiable needs to be in a central location. I mean, we have FOIA officers. FOIA officers need to have access to those records. Simple as that. I
But-
mean, go ahead.
Well, I guess it was my turn. It kind of went back to you.
Okay,
in
well, it's
turn.
open, but go ahead.
Yeah, but, I mean, in the case of a FOIA, we've been operating this way all this time. Why, what has prompted the change? This is what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, the ambulance director did say there was a FOIA, and he was reached out, the FOIA was completed, not a big deal. I mean, it wasn't about personnel records, but
No.
Have we been operating this way all this time? I mean, maybe the ambulance has, but I don't necessarily think that all the other city departments have been, though. I don't think
I
that's the
can't speak to
case.
their department.
And so I think something's changed, but I'm not sure, it's not on our end, so, I don't know what that is, though.
The other comment I wanted to make is the clerk's office is an administrative record-keeping office, yes. They have all of the records required to do their functions, payroll, make sure insurance, that they're licensed and all of that kind of stuff, but they're not HR.
Why would they not be? Who is HR then?
Well, I think it would go back to the commissioner for their specific department.
I mean, I would say as far
Yeah.
as discipline's concerned, yeah, I think it would go
Yeah.
to the commissioner for their department, but, I mean, you could say a component of HR is processing payroll, and they do that. So, I mean, they do perform some components of what typically you consider to be HR, so.
Is there anyone here trained in HR, or we just
Yeah, be
pick
trained
that
in
up
it.
and go with it too?
I think, I think, we've kind of had this discussion, or I think, former city clerk Kleiner, sat up there the one day and spoke, and said, none of us up here are really qualified to do any of the jobs that we do.
Well, that
so,
wasn't my question, Austin, not at all.
I just think if you wanna go that far, but,
Well, you can think that all you want, but my question was, is anybody up here certified to be in anything with HR?
well, somebody
They're
has to
acting
do it,
like
don't
someone
they?
is, but they're not.
So, we just shouldn't have anybody do HR related
So,
things.
so you're
I'm
saying,
not making a suggestion.
so you're saying if nobody
Well,
is
somebody has to.
trained, therefore there should not be a central I'm trying to understand your logic on that. You're saying if nobody has training in it, therefore there should not be a central location where HR records are kept?
I was trying not to go into this one, but
Well,
what
that's
I
what I'm asking.
see as a problem here, Jason, is if you'll recall back to about, I think, August of 2023, there was an incident that occurred in one of my departments where someone was disciplined. Within a couple weeks, not only was that information leaked, but we had a resident come up to the podium here and call out that person, and me tried to at that time. And I believe the information came from HR, who at the time was you, and that's who I told that information to. So that's one of the reasons that I just don't see a central location here being of any good.
August of 2023, first of all,
It's right around there, yeah.
I don't know what you're referring to, but it sounds like
course
you're
not.
insinuating that I somehow
Oh, you
divulged.
did.
I-
If you want me to get into it
What are you
further, I'll
talking
tell
about?
you.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
When
I-
Dom came up here and said that I got, what is it, harassed, or I backed down, or whatever it was, he came up here and said about the incident, which was false as well, because the incident did stay on their file for 1 year.
Well, Rich,
I
you
still don't know what you're
you
referring
voiced
to.
your concern to me before about people leaking stuff out of closed session,
And it
you,
happened again.
well, yeah, and you said it wasn't even myself or the mayor. You said it was one of the other people sitting up here, and so
Well, the mayor
I
just
mean,
said in the last closed session
so
that he
I'm
didn't-
I'm
he-
just saying. I mean, we seem to have an issue. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily an HR thing. I would say we seem to have an issue with loose lips in closed session. So
I would agree, like the
Yeah.
90% deal.
yeah.
Remember that one? Oh, I think there was a lot of loose lips. I agree with you, totally.
80%.
Okay, so what is it that we've done before that we want to change exactly?
I think we need to go back to having a central repository for all employee records. I don't know why that's complicated. I mean, anything that's foiable. I mean, we've had employees try to go get their records from the clerks. The reason this is coming up, I think that was one of your questions, actually.
Yes.
Why one of this came up is, you know, I found out that the records are not being kept at City Hall anymore. An employee came in, wanted his certification records, and they didn't have it here. So then it says, oh, it's maintained at the department. And they go to the department, nobody can find them. Why can nobody find them? To me, that shouldn't have been the case. It should have been, the records are here, they go to City Hall, so that way City Hall, I think it'd be much more responsible that somebody goes to the clerk's office and say, why is that piece of paper not in the clerk's purview? Your job is to have control of it. Well, if they never got it, they never got it. So, to me, that's where this is coming from. That's what started it. And then I found out that people's disciplinary things that were being done on people are not making their way to City Hall. They're being held in somebody's drawer down there without even the employee's knowledge. I'm like, oh my God, we can't be doing this.
I would also ask too, and I this is partially my fault, to be entirely honest, because when we went to hire 2 part-time girls and we went to hire Jen, on the job application, I had listed submit applications to either my email or Jason's email or whoever's emails, as opposed to one central repository, which would be the clerk's office. The other thing, and I have mentioned this before too, but this is a concern for me. I know that we had a streets department position that we had posted for, and I know that we had a building maintenance position that we had posted for. Are those job applications and those materials, which are public record, being stored in your departments?
They're being stored on the News Tribune site.
As far as I know,
What? I mean the materials you received, resumes,
I
job,
received one resume.
and so we're keeping those.
Yeah.
We're keeping them in your department. We're not in City Hall, correct?
Was anybody in City Hall hiring them? Was there any need for
No,
someone else
I'm
to have possession of it?
No, I just
Or
want to
have it get
know,
lost, or?
just so we're all on the same page.
Because those items are
Yeah.
foible, I believe,
The
right?
ambulances
They're
are
all on
already
the-
storing their applicants in City Hall,
Okay.
so that's.
Yeah.
and the only applicant I got recently, I gave to City Hall.
Okay.
Wait, so we're storing ambulance applications
After
in
they
City Hall,
hire, they put all of them,
Okay,
they
okay.
give them to the,
but they get turned into the ambulance?
yes.
Okay.
Or I'm not even sure. They may be turned in here. I'm sure if one showed up here, they're gonna call them and say, here you go.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad policy. I think turning it into to the department head and then submitting the materials afterwards to City Hall so they have those if they need them is probably good policy.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this topic? I feel like we keep beating the same one to death.
Apparently we do.
I will sum it up in that I will say that I do think we should have a central repository for these things, but I
don't-
read that the vibe in the room is contrary to that, so.
Okay?
I don't have a problem with having a central location. I have a problem with everybody walking in and looking at other people's files. If
What's your definition of everybody,
Yeah,
Max?
who's everyone, Matt?
everybody on the council,
Well,
I mean, okay,
the attorney
If-
just told you that everybody on the council has that capability, legal right and authority to do so if they wanted to. If that's I agree when you say everybody, you're right. Not all employees need to have access to other employees' records. 100%, 100% agree with that. But if your concern is the council, like you just said, that is the legal right of the council, the management, to be able to look at that and make determinations. And as I've said before, there has been problems in the past because that wasn't followed, where other commissioners did not know about things going on with certain employees, and it allowed problems to continue for
then
years.
how did it go from one to the other to begin with? What was the reasoning for that?
What do you mean one to the other?
Okay, apparently you're saying that one time it was at the city clerk's office, then it went to each department. Why did it end up going to each
I think that's a
department?
question
That's
for
the-
members of this council.
That's a great question, because I don't know. That's when it became apparent to me that we did not have all the records at City Hall. I thought we did. And then I found out that discipline reports on people are being not held here as well. So
Is
that's
it-
a problem. Does that make sense? Does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
having executive and legislative oversight of my departments, I don't feel that they need to be shared with the community.
I mean, discipline, do we share everybody's discipline? Is that
Yeah, that's exactly
necessary?
what'll happen, just like it
Yeah.
happened before.
And then loose lips sink ships.
Okay. I mean,
I don't have a problem.
I don't know
with
who
the-
has the ultimate authority. As far as I know, it's the majority vote, unless there's a different, I don't even know if there's a higher authority than what the council wants to do, so.
I don't think there is, Jason.
So that means if the majority wants to do what you want with the records, I think the majority has the right to do what they want with the records, I guess.
I don't know, Pat. I mean, maybe this isn't a question for you. Maybe this is more of an HR question. But I guess maybe I'll seek a legal perspective on it. But have you ever
That's good.
heard of there being maybe a system in place where when somebody's record is accessed, let's say, I mean, maybe stored physically, but let's say stored digitally, because that's easier to do. If it was stored digitally and somebody's employee personnel file is accessed, that there is like an audit log that shows that this person pulled this record at this date, so there is some sort of
I
accountability?
think it's a great idea, Austin.
Okay, so
Now you
that
get
could
it.
solve that potential issue.
Sounds similar to my suggestion for the closed session meeting minutes. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess that probably would be a
As long
similar.
as long as they're secured, I have no
Yeah.
problem if you want to
But-
create an audit file of who had
Yeah,
access to something.
but I wouldn't put them on the cloud, though, I guess is what I'm saying. They would
Hmm.
have to be in
No.
in City Hall itself, so.
Then we're
But they're
saying
still
we're
in
gonna have
City
to
Hall,
table
that's the
this
key with
going
that.
Yeah,
forward.
and they should be accessed during business hours.
Okay,
I think it's important that they be stored in a central repository, primarily because of the FOIA-able nature of them all.
Yeah, I would agree.
honestly.
okay.
Okay, so,
Well,
so then can we,
that's people's thoughts, and that's what the attorney's recommendation is, but again, the council has the ultimate authority of what they want to do with that, I suppose. Unless we somehow hear from a higher level authority that changes that, which I don't know who that is. So, what's the council want to do? Is there a motion to keep it at City Hall?
There isn't even a action on there, it says
Non-action?
discussion.
Well,
yes,
yeah, I guess it's a discussion, so let me know, do we need to make this a motion at the next meeting, or is this a dead issue because
I
I
get
have three
the-
people?
I say
Can I make a
no.
motion to close the
Exactly.
discussion?
You certainly
Second.
can.
There you go.
You say-
There you go.
Well, everybody has to have the opportunity that they've spoke on it, everybody has, so there's a motion to close the discussion, is there a second?
Second?
Roll call to close the discussion.
Baldrige,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
aye,
Moyle,
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. And since discussion is closed and there's no action, we move on. C, discussion and possible action on special use permit for body art studio, Cullinan.
Okay, yeah, so again, I don't know, Pat, if you want to speak to this real quickly, and then I'll give my 2 cents on it.
Well, so the plan commission met, what date was it?
just,
The
28th,
28th.
I guess, just this past week, to entertain a request for a special use permit that was filed by a gentleman who indicated an address down the block here, and gave us a legal description for that address. Their application at the top says an owner, at the bottom it says an owner, but the question became, is it the owner of the business or the owner of the building who needs to be involved in that? And it was so unclear that we decided that he could move forward, particularly if he allowed the owner of the building to co-sign the application for him.
And Sal has come in and signed.
He has come in and
Yeah, I
signed
came
it.
in the next day.
There was some confusion about the address, because the building has 2 different addresses. I think one was 114, one was 116. I think he put 114 on his application, but he really is going to want to use the space at 116. I really thought that was a de minimis problem, because everybody was aware of what the legal description was and essentially where the property was, and nobody showed up and even talked about it or complained. So at the conclusion of the hearing, the Plan Commission unanimously agreed to recommend that the council approve the special use permit for the body art studio at what is going to be 116 West Walnut Street in Oglesby.
Okay. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned on this, I mean, I first of all, I want to thank the Plan Commission for the work that they do, and for being there for that Plan Commission meeting. But as I was sitting in that Plan Commission meeting, I kind of just wondered why why a body art studio would even require a special use permit for an area zoned, I think it would be B1 Downtown Commercial District. I have it circled right there. It just kind of seemed odd to me that they would have to kind of come in front of the Plan Commission and kind of do a song and dance in order to, ultimately get their business off the ground.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that all comes out of your land development code.
Yeah, well.
Lots of work went into approving that code and deciding what
Yeah.
needed a special use permit in any given district, and that's what it says.
Yeah, and so I had that here. This is going to be messed up formatting wise though, because it's on my phone. So let me flip it. But I saw that, and so this is so B1 is what it's zoned, and so just to go down to commercial uses, I'm gonna lose B1. So B1 is that row right there. So I'm just gonna keep my finger over it. So B1. So a college or university would require a special use permit. I don't anticipate any of those suddenly popping up. A hospital, don't anticipate that happening. A place of public assembly, I'd be very curious as to know what that would even exactly be. A post office, public safety services, a religious assembly, I thought that was kind of interesting that something like that would require a special use permit. But anyway, social club or lodge, so I assume something like the Elks or the Masons or whatever, if they wanted to be in that space, would require a special use permit. Scrolling down, art gallery would require a special use permit. Again, not exactly sure why. A pawn shop, maybe I can see. Body art services, though, was under here. And I just kind of felt bad that the Plan Commission members even had to be there to discuss that because, I mean, it was just kind of more so, and I think it's great to obviously know what kind of business is coming to town and what they're going to offer and what their business plan looks like and so forth and so on. But I don't know. I found that in particular kind of unnecessary as I was sitting there, and so I don't know. I guess I just wanted to kind of spark a larger conversation as to what we should and shouldn't require a special use permit for. Anything denoted as P on here, though, you don't need a special use permit for. So, like, for instance, a restaurant or a tavern wouldn't require a special use permit. And so I know that one of the things that was discussed was, like, parking. And, honestly, I envision a lot less parking at a tattoo studio than I would probably a tavern or a bar, which wouldn't require a special use permit. So I don't know. I found that kind of interesting, and I'm totally for this. But I just, like, again, just sitting at that meeting, it was just kind of like I didn't really understand the purpose of it. But I will
And
move on.
Austin, I don't know, because I wasn't here then, and, Ken may be able to provide some insight
Yeah.
as to why they did that, but for instance, you may not want it right next to a funeral home, or you may not want it right next to a school.
Mhm.
There are things in this district that you might not want to have a pawn shop or a body art studio right next to,
Mhm.
because they seem to be incompatible businesses in the same block. But I think that's probably the reason it's there, Ken, isn't it?
If I may, number
Yes,
one,
sir.
you're talking about revising the plan. That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
That's not even
Sure.
related to this right now.
Yeah.
Right now, the issue is whether or not the recommendation that we made as a planning commission
Mhm.
would be approved
Sure.
by your council. And it requires a special permit.
Yep.
Under what was done when we did the land development code a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
Now, there was a situation with the body arts thinking that it was kind of a sleazy business.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't remember all the discussion that took place 5 years ago or 6 years ago, but I think, in my opinion, part of it was the clientele that might come
Mm.
would have to be discussed, is it really what you want?
Mm.
And, you know, from our discussion recently, with the body art, guys coming in, I think this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I do
It's
too.
Provide more business downtown, that's what you want traffic.
Mhm.
And it's really an art now, as opposed to the old tattoo,
Yeah,
you know, that we used to think about tattoo parlors.
yeah,
So the issue of revising that is a text amendment.
yeah.
And that requires somebody to say, I want you to go back and look at this text,
Mhm.
and here's what I want you to look at, and then that's up to the plan commission
Sure.
then to review that.
Sure.
I think that's a separate
Sure.
issue, not germane.
Sure.
And I think some of it, Ken, may boil down to the operator of the business too. You know, these people seem to be on top of their game, they have all their medical certifications, they keep, you know, IDs on all the people to ensure that everybody is over the required age limit. Those were questions that came up in that hearing, and they seemed to answer them appropriately. I'm not sure the decision would have been the same if they weren't getting the correct answers that they wanted
My
to get.
problem with that
Absolutely.
is that once you say, okay, we're gonna allow this business, this special, that's done. So the next guy can come in. So you don't know who the next guy is gonna be.
Or
Yeah.
where that
But right
location's
now,
gonna
I
be
was very,
either.
very satisfied
Right.
with the presentation made by the fellows that are gonna run it. He has tattoo parlors or body art shops in Bloomington, one in Peru, and apparently there's no problem.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Thank you, Ken.
Ken is right. It's a separate issue. But what I would just say, I think it might be worth looking at what we require special use permits, for, and then, well, maybe having the plan commission do that, because I just thought that was kind of odd. But like you said, Ken, I know tattoos, the social acceptance of them today is much different than it even was 5 years ago. And so I'm not even a tattoo guy myself, so I didn't think I'd be sitting up here defending, body art studios. But I thought it was just kind of interesting that they had to come in there and do that. And maybe a little bit unnecessary, but I fully supportive of it, and I will vote to accept the Plan Commission's recommendation.
Okay.
I also really am excited for this business coming. I do have some questions though, because the application did say it required a deed. I didn't see it was a deed turned in. It says legal subscription and attached deed.
Yeah, I didn't ever see a deed. I
Okay.
looked up the property myself, Hillary, but I never
Okay.
saw a deed.
Yeah, I thought about
That's when
looking,
I
I
found
thought
out the
about
other guy
looking it
owned the
up at
business,
work.
you know,
That's
all
why I
the
thought about looking it up at work, but I was like, that really opens a can of worms, cause I don't feel like the council should be filling out the application for him, but I wanna feel really good about this, and these are what my concerns are, is because it was listed as the wrong address, the public hearing was the wrong address. I would hate for him to be fully established, have a great business, and then someone comes in and says, I don't want him to have it, and throw a fit. Now we have to retract the special use permit, cause it wasn't completed correctly in the first place. And then we have to go through the process. So I guess that's my I'm gonna ask Pat, do you foresee, let's just say there is someone who comes in and says, now I'm unhappy with how the process was done because it was not done correctly.
I think the problems are de minimis, Hillary. I've said that before in this conversation. I don't have any problems with it.
Okay. You mentioned conditions with the health department and everything like that. And I don't think it's unusual to attach conditions to the approval of the special use permit. So that way, if it does vacate, the next one comes in. Is there some language that we could add to it?
You can add anything you want, but there is
do you-
no requirement that they be approved by the health
Yeah, I don't
department. There is one.
That's what I'm saying, is can we add language like that to include
No, but I
that?
mean, the health rules don't require that they approve body art studios. So the LaSalle County Health Department won't come in and do that.
Right, but,
It's just not on their radar, cause it's not something they have control over.
right, but for us, can we include the language that we would like an establishment to be approved by the public health department? Like you can't
No.
be specific
No,
to.
because the public health department's not charged with the administration of body art studios.
Okay.
They have no authority to do that, and if you call them, they're gonna say, sorry, we don't do that.
Just so I can understand your question, is your concern, I'll wait till I get around to me, but is your concern if the business would close and somebody else would wanna
Yes.
come in?
Yes.
And you're like, hey, we
Can
don't
we
want
put
that?
any kind of conditions on there that would make the process start over for the next person who maybe wants to put a
Let me
body
ask
art?
that, cause I know for
I
restaurants, if they're-
don't think so, because I think the special use permit is location specific.
Okay,
It's not you know, operator specific.
What happens if they close for a certain period of time? Do they have
6
to?
months. Then
So if
they-
it's
then
closed
they'll
for
lose
6
it.
months, then they'd have to reapply for
Right.
special use again.
Right.
But if the business, because I know for bars, this is why this comes up, is because once you issue them a license, if that bar were to resell to somebody, they have the right, as long as they qualify for all the background checks, to maintain that license, I think. So is that what you're saying? So let's say if we approve this guy and another person comes in, sells the business, they're automatically approved, is that what you're saying?
A body art studio is.
A body art, but if it's vacant for 6 months or more, then they have to go through
Then
the
they have to
process again.
start the process all
Does that answer
over.
your question?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Matt?
I'm all for it as long as all the paperwork is signed and correct.
Okay.
Okay. Rich?
No questions.
Okay. My only thing is,
Can I make one more comment about this?
Ken, you will be able to make any comment you ever want, anytime, ever, because of you. Go ahead.
Just the motion that we made, addressed all these issues of the address change, of the owner, and the application being formed. So what our motion said was to approve the special use permit, subject to
Yep.
the, owner coming in to sign, the deed, information all being cleared, and the address being changed.
Change on the
So
application.
Correct.
that's all in the motion, so we addressed those issues.
Yes, sir.
as we got them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I was gonna touch on that. There was I'm always appreciative when a board comes together and they ask good questions. So, one thing, I understand what you're saying, it felt like maybe why does this need to have a special use? But if you look at the things that our attorney said here, I think there's a reason behind it of why something could have a special use, and it's because you give the opportunity for your planning commission to ask questions about things. And I didn't have a problem with any specific question they asked. I mean, because they all have their merit a little bit, because if there's a concern about the address, which again, the address wasn't wrong, it was just the way it's displayed, I guess, because of,
Well, it was wrong. It says
wasn't
two 214 and it's 216,
But
or
it's-
114 and it's
114,
116.
but it's both there, right? That's the
Right.
problem.
It's all one
Yeah.
legal description for the whole piece of property, so.
So technically, the one that would be on the side of where that is, that's why they did that. So I don't look at that as wrong, it's just not, well, I guess it's not annotated properly. But I mean, the legal description did have that address. But my point is, I do think there's value in having this, and what you might not know is, and I haven't even seen what the land development code was before it got completely revamped. So there's a lot of things that got cleaned up in that process. Is there things I'm sure that could be better? I'm sure there are. I think the perception over, I don't know about 5 years, but 20 or 40 years ago, the perception on body art studios and tattoos is significantly different nowadays than it was then. Is that one item that they were to revamp, if they were to revamp the entire thing, is that one that could possibly be looked at change? Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to necessarily do a text amendment for that one kind of
Well,
thing.
No, not at all. I can't imagine that we're gonna get
No.
5 more tattoo shops.
But my point is, I'm sure there's lots of things like that, and I think that's why, and I have no idea how many years the problem went on before they decided to revamp the entire land development code. So I think something like that could happen. So you never know, in 10 years from now, maybe there'll be 7 more items on there that probably should have been modified, and then they'll revamp the whole thing again. So again, I don't have a problem with any of the individual questions that were asked, because I think they all have their own merit. The thing I do agree with you on, Austin, is I think there was probably just too many of those questions. And it can be daunting in front of a potential business owner. Again, nothing wrong with the questions, because, like you said, if this tattoo parlor was going in right next to the school, or let's say we're talking about another controversial, like the most controversial business I can think of would be like a strip club coming into town. If a strip club wanted to come to town, I would hope that plan commission would be asking a lot of questions, a lot of questions. Before if I saw something come across the council chambers here with a recommendation to accept that, I'm gonna be like, I need to look at these minutes, what kind of questions they ask, because that's kind of crazy. So, again, I think it's great. Also to note, which I thought was funny, because apparently I am a huge tattoo guy. I have a total whopping 1. Oddly enough, I did not know this, but apparently that owner owns the same place in Peru that I actually had my tattoo done. So, I don't know what he's gonna operate here necessarily, but that, I felt very comfortable with that tattoo parlor there, so I think he runs a clean and good business. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, that's
Make
all
a
I got to
motion.
say about it. Anybody else wanna go around the room? Anything else?
I
Um,
just want to be
Go ahead.
clear, like, Pat, you don't foresee there gonna be a problem where we're gonna shut down his business because somebody becomes unhappy? Cause I would hate to do that to a business.
No, don't see
Okay.
it, Hillary, at all.
Okay.
But if it were to be vacated for 6 months or closed, then they would have to reopen under a new, same thing. Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Well, this guy quits, somebody else comes in there, he's automatically approved also. Is
I mean,
what you're saying?
That problem exists with all of our bars and taverns right now, technically, right? We approve
Yeah.
somebody for that, and once they're approved, you could get somebody in that legally purchases that, and if they pass the background check, they're the new owner.
As long as everybody's aware of that.
Well, Pat, just a question for you, just administratively, and this doesn't necessarily tie to this, but it ties to the process. Hillary had mentioned something about a deed and a deed not being attached. Is there, as part of this process, is somebody required to submit a deed?
Yes, they are,
Okay.
and it should be the zoning administrator who looks at the application and determines whether all that stuff has been there. And in this particular case, you don't have a zoning administrator, and I'd suggest you take that task at hand and appoint one.
Well, that might be another, well, maybe an
That's another
unfair,
thing for
maybe
another
another
day.
unfair question to loft on you right now.
Yeah.
But we don't have a zoning administrator. I would like to have a zoning administrator, but in the absence of a zoning administrator, who's the zoning administrator?
I don't know. You
Yeah,
know,
I
there's been some
figured.
conversation about whether it's Jason,
Mhm.
whether it's the clerk, whether
Yeah.
it's you as the head of the clerk's office. I don't know. I've never looked into it. If you want me to look into it, I can.
Yeah.
But I'd suggest you get to the task at hand and appoint a zoning administrator.
I would agree with that.
So should we appoint?
Because this particular part of the code says the application shall be turned into the zoning administrator, and you don't have one. So it begs a lot of questions.
Yeah, well,
I'm operating under the assumption that whatever office we don't have, there's a provision in state statute and our ordinances that says the mayor temporarily does that while it's vacant.
Well-
So I look at it this way, it doesn't mean I'm just gonna approve anything, but if it looks like it matches the requirements, do we have a deed in there?
I believe, Pat, you had looked it up and saw, so, yeah.
Okay,
And
Well-
that's why I found the
Yeah.
owner's name.
well,
okay.
I will suggest that maybe we have employment compensation discipline on the closed session agenda. I will suggest that we talk about that in closed session, so.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other further discussion on this, the recommendation was a positive one to approve the special use permit. I know, I'm trying to go back to what Ken is, let's focus on what the actual agenda item is. So if there's no other questions or concerns, if we can get a motion to approve the special use permit.
Motion to approve special use permit.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
I,
Curran.
Aye. D, discussion and possible action for forming 125th Celebration Committee recommended by the Plan Commission. Cullinan.
Okay, so I was at the Plan Commission meeting, and we have the 125th anniversary of Oglesby coming up. I believe it's next year, is that correct?
Yes.
27.
So 2027. And so I do recall from the Plan Commission meeting that there was a suggestion of forming a committee to basically put some sort of a celebration together to commemorate the 125th anniversary of the incorporation of the city of Oglesby. And Ken, I believe would it be our incorporation as Portland? And then, because I know there's the whole thing about the post office, right? The post,
I'm not gonna give the dissertation, but
Yeah.
yes, it was incorporated in 1902
Mhm.
as the city of Portland.
Okay. So, there you go. So I guess we kind of have to discuss the merits of this, and if we do think it has merit, maybe come up with a suggestion as to who should be on this committee. So I'm open to whatever anybody has to say.
Okay, Hillary?
I guess when you say form of celebration, are you looking like an event, like bigger than Fun Fest, or coming in at the same time simultaneously with Fun Fest?
I
or-
don't think there was a clear consensus at the Plan Commission meeting
Okay.
as to what exactly it would constitute. So, I mean, I think that's kind of up to whoever the event committee is to kind of
Okay.
piece that together with direction from the council.
Okay. Well, I would be okay with an event committee or a celebration committee formed. I don't know, how many are you thinking? I guess.
I have
let
answers.
everybody
I have
talk.
answers on that,
Okay.
because I have what the last one was, so. Okay, go ahead.
I'm all for it. Go ahead. Rich, you got anything?
Just wait to hear your answers.
Okay, so, back in 2002, Oglesby had a committee put together that they had a great celebration, and they also made this wonderful product. If you haven't seen it before, I want to say there was 750 created, is that correct? 500 initially, and then another 250, is that correct? Or did I have that number wrong?
I don't know. We were able to donate $12,000 to the library as a result of the sale of those books.
So for those that have never seen this book, there's I think there's at least, there might be 2 at the library. It's a beautiful book. It's a wonderful book. It has the history of the entire city from 1902, when they were created as Portland, and all the details there. And there was a committee that was put together for it. The suggestion is that we have a committee kind of put together because it's,
Jason,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that was completely separate.
That was separate from, this wasn't on the same this wasn't done at the same committee?
That book was put together by the Oglesby Historical Society.
Well, they don't exist anymore,
Not by
though.
the Centennial Committee.
Let me ask you, how far in advance was this book planned?
3 years.
Whew.
If you're thinking about a book, my suggestion is the other book that we put together,
Yes,
which was 100 Years, it was
a smaller one.
a pamphlet. But everything's in there, you don't have to repeat stuff that's in there. All you have to do is pick up the last 25 years.
Correct.
So you don't need to have that extensive, and you won't get it by next year.
Yeah.
I can
So-
guarantee that.
So the point was, there was a committee that also put together, I think it covered 25 years, is that correct?
Yeah.
Covered 25 years. So I think it would be a great idea to have a committee that can do both, right? That can come up with the celebration, maybe look into the idea if we want to put together something for creating an addendum for it. I mean, it's such a great product to have. There is a digital version still available for this. I don't know if there could ever be reprints, or maybe we'll just be looking at just the addendum one, whatever it is. The time was December of 1902. So that means by December of 2027 will be 125 years. So that is about 7 months into the next administration. And if it took 3 years to put this book together, granted, times move a little quicker now, but still, I think we need to get some lead time into that. So getting a committee together, I'd like for either the event to be planned, or whatever, if they decide to do some kind of materials for whatever, that they would have 90% of that already all figured out by the next administration coming here, so that way they're not starting blind. And I think that we have to do that. And my understanding, Ken, for the last celebration, was there was a total of 5 people. There are still some people around that were on that committee. I would like to not only create a 5-person committee for this, but I'd like to see if I can get at least one person be somebody that was on that original committee, just so they can have some experience of what they all saw, what they did, and then for new people that obviously have a lot of energy to be able to get something like this done in, really less than 2 years. So that's kind of all I got on it. Yes, ma'am.
During the committee meeting, I know that there was some ideas of possibly having maybe a business, somebody from a business do it, somebody from a non-for-profit also be a part of that. I personally think it'd be probably a good idea to have one of our event planners, at least one of our event planners
Oh,
on
yeah.
there to help with it. So it's just was something that was brought up at the meeting.
Absolutely. And one of the things we discussed is, because we found out, Pat, if you remember, when we were trying to put together the insurance committee, we found out that we really were not allowed to make an ad hoc committee. So that's why I wanted to get this on here. I'd like to be able to direct Pat to create this, an ordinance for it that would allow us to do this. And that way we can establish the board next meeting, and then we can look to fill people, whether that's next meeting or the meeting after that. So that way they have the maximum lead time to be looking at what they want to do and come up with suggestions to the council. So that's kind of my thought.
It's gonna take time
Yep.
to put together things like a parade, or any events that you might want leading up to the actual celebration. Whether you merge it with Fun Fest or not, that's a question. But, but it's gonna take, you gotta get moving now.
Can I ask, when was the last celebration at the 100 year? When was it? Was it done in December of
No,
two?
it was done in the middle of-
It was done in the middle of summer?
Yeah.
So was it the year after? Was it 100.5, or was it just before 100?
We ate the 6 months.
We ate this. I love it. Okay. Thank you, Ken. All right, any other comments on any of this here?
I'm good.
So that'd be my recommendation. We create a 5-person board, direct Pat to create the ordinance for it. We'll get it on the books, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll motion that we direct the city attorney to create an ordinance that creates 125th Celebration Committee as
Second.
recommended by the Planning
Second.
Commission.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle. Aye. Curran.
Aye. E, discussion and possible action on whale raffle license application current. I'm not sure why it's attributed to me, but it's all good. So, We Are Oglesby does a lot of fantastic things, for the city. They have their fundraising events, obviously, so this is just a way to approve that, so they can run their different fundraising events, throughout the, year. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that at all. Go around the room.
No comment.
Mac,
No comment.
Rich?
No.
Okay, if we can get a motion to approve the We Are Oglesby raffle license.
I'll motion that we approve the We Are Oglesby raffle license application.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle. Aye. Curran.
Aye. Number 12, public comment on any topic. Seeing there's none, we'll move on. Number 13, commissioner reports. Commissioner Cullinan.
Okay, I just have 3 things tonight. First of all, Jen mentioned this to me before the meeting, and I had kind of forgotten about it, but it's no small feat, so I want to give her kudos. In the back, in the clerk's office, we have kind of a closet where we store, there's some crazy old stuff we store in there. Speaking of the history of We Are Oglesby, there's like an ordinance book back there from the time that we were Portland. So there's all sorts of records, all sorts of documentation back there. And to be entirely honest, it was kind of, it's been a wreck for a while. And so the other day, they were like, hey, Austin, go back in the records closet and take a look in there and see what you think. And so I went in there and I walked out and I said, what changed? And so, but no, it was a very big improvement, just as far as reorganization is concerned. And speaking of those old ordinance books, one of the issues, sometimes we have to consult old ordinances, we have to do a lot of backtracking to figure out kind of where we are. And so one of the things that we had talked about, and one of the things I'm looking into at the moment is digitizing a lot of those old ordinance books, because, I mean, the Portland one is kind of falling apart, but it, not only for longevity, but also just so they're more easily navigable for the people who work in the clerk's office. So there's that. The second thing, I had made a Facebook post about this on our city Facebook page, but we rolled out our code violation form, or I think it's like property maintenance form or something, property complaint form or something like that. And so far we have 8 entries, 4 of which have been automatic, meaning that somebody online has submitted them. We appreciate the assistance from the public in making us aware of some of the issues that have been submitted. I talked with Burton and the girls at City Hall today about how to approach some of the issues that are being complained about, and we think we have a pretty good solid footing from which to address them. So there's that. And then the last thing, I've talked about this before as well, but I sat down with Connecting Point, I think it was last week, and we've been kind of back and forth on trying to get a date set up to transition us to Office 365. From what they told me, it is something very common in the public sector. Peru uses it, IVRD uses it. And there's just a number of things, quality of life, that will make things so much easier for us. One of the things is very present in the whole property maintenance thing that we're doing. We have Microsoft Forms, which allows people to submit forms. It can be for anything. In this case, it's for property issues, so they can submit those to forms. There's an automation tool, I mentioned this before, called Power Automate, that can then send it and populate everything into an Excel spreadsheet. And then, in that Excel spreadsheet, it's a collaborative document. You can share it with other people throughout the city. And so everybody in the clerk's office has edit access to it. Chief Margus has edit access to it. Our building inspector, Burton, has edit access to it. And it's just a really, so far, I think it's actually, I think it's going pretty good. But it's just so nice to have things like that that would allow us to all be on the same page. Same thing with the building permits. I think it will be really nice. There's some other tools in there as well. I have asked Connecting Point, as far as licenses are concerned, to ensure that each department head and each commissioner has an actual license to use all of the Office 365 apps. And we have to pay for this yearly, but what I will say is I hope that people can find some use for it, because I think in the limited time I've used it, it's been very, very useful. And we don't use Microsoft at my job. We use G Suite, which is the Google version. But I know that's indispensable, really, when it comes to getting my work done at my full-time job. So I think it will smooth a lot of things out around here as far as communication and stuff of that nature. So, but that's all I have for tonight. I did talk to Connecting Point tonight, though. They called me about 4 o'clock, and we're actually, just so the council's aware, there's some scheduling issues, and so we're actually gonna push it back to March now, after the March city council meeting. But that's all I have for tonight.
Okay. I forgot about the thing you put online. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you. Good movement to the next step.
Yep.
Commissioner Moore.
So this last month, I've been working with the Dickinson House Foundation, the Parks Department, and today I'm also looping in the clerk's office. This project's becoming larger and more collaborative in many ways, but this kind of addresses a little bit what you touched on your mayor's report. Is I'm excited to announce that our emergency services are putting together a mini-series at the Dickinson House, and it's going to be hosted once a month for about an hour, and it's going to be rotating between the police, fire, and ambulance. So this is open to the public. It's free. No need to pre-register. This first session is going to be hosted by the ambulance director, Pete Regazinski. He'll be giving basic CPR training and instruction on how to operate AEDs on March 5th at 10 o'clock. This won't provide you a certification, but it'll at least get you a little bit more knowledge in case there's an emergency. As we move forward, which, like I said, this is brand new, so we're still working through all of these. There's been so many brainstorming ideas, and I've asked each department in public health and safety to pick 3 different topics, so that way it'll kind of encompass the rest of the year. So I'm really excited about that. One of the suggestions was heating safety, so.
Great.
So, okay, for January calls for the police, I have 84 traffic stops, 4 vehicle accidents, 773 extra patrol stops documented using house checks, or including house checks and business checks, and 28 incident reports. The ambulance has 59 911 calls, 12 transfers, 5 ALS intercepts, 2 mutual aid requests, for a total of 78 calls. Of those 78 calls, 8 of those total calls were in the fire protection district. I do want to take a moment and thank all of the residents who have asked to be transferred by Oglesby Ambulance. It really does help. For the fire department, we have 11 auto aids, 6 activated alarms, 4 gas leaks, 2 auto accidents, 2 technical rescue team calls, 1 odor investigation, 1 brush fire, and of those 27 calls, 13 of them were out of district, 11 in city limits, and 3 in the Oglesby Fire Protection District. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner McDermott.
Well, with the cold and everything, we got a few water breaks in town. The city street department and the water department has been fixing them and repairing them. Please be conscious of the individuals out on the street, and thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Commissioner Baldwin.
Some information from the electric department. There are guys short here. We'd like to congratulate him and his family on the new addition. With the cold weather, we have been concentrating on the guys studying and getting their University of Illinois extension sprayers and right-of-way certifications, as well as got them enrolled and started working on the online training classes for substation technician and OSHA training for power delivery. They continue to work on mapping our electrical system. Had no weather-related issues in the last 2 weeks. And for the Parks Department, they wanted to announce that there will be a board meeting that's scheduled for February 18th at 6 PM. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. 14's been struck. Number 15, executive session for collective negotiated matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning the salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, 5 LCS 122/C2, to discuss the purchase or lease of real estate, 5 LCS 120C5, the employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 LCS 120/2C1, discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed, 5 ILCS 120C21. If I can get a motion to go into executive session,
I'll
please.
make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. And there is no planned actions after executive session. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Sure, turn your mics off.
very young.
Seventh grade history.
I saw it and I was like, oh, that's.
That's awesome. We gotta find that other one that Ken's talking about,
I'll
because
look it
that's the, I've seen it here in this building before.
I'll have Aaron do a field trip tomorrow and go to the library.
Because that's the one that maybe the committee could do something more with or something, but, okay. All right, we're back in open session. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here,
Moyle.
Here.
Curran.
Here, number 14, adjournment. Can I get a motion to
I'll
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge. Aye. Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Hi.
Curran.
Aye. We are adjourned.